What up, what up, what up, what up? Back at it again, Real Fans Podcast. We're here, week one. Week one, we got through it. Listen, we've been waiting all summer long. It's week one. We got through football. Julian, how you feeling right now? That's my man Julian over there.
Oh, what's up? What's up, show? My first time on here. No, man, I'm feeling good, man. It's nice to have football season back, actual football. I tell you what, like I'm eating right now in the sports world. There's so much content to consume. I was even telling Gabe, I'm like, man, there's so much stuff that I wasn't able to like even dive as deep in because it's just been so much to cover. But yeah, super crazy week one as always. Week one's always the most entertaining because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what you're going to see. And that leads us to our first topic and probably the shortest Jets quarterback career ever is Aaron Rodgers going down with a torn Achilles, out for the season on the fourth play of the drive. Honestly, man, as a Jaguar fan, I feel for you guys. We've been in that same position as you guys been for years, except you guys probably have it worse than we have because you guys are a lot older of a team, and even in your good years, you still weren't that great. Wow. So
the slander,
and it's just there was so much hype leading into the season for the Jets. You know, they felt like they were a quarterback away last year. They thought Zach Wilson was going to make the jump, but he didn't. You had this incredible draft class that played out of their mind, and it looks like they repeated it this past Monday night. But then all hell broke loose when Aaron Rodgers went down. They had to figure it out, but they managed to keep it together and get the victory. But I'm gonna pass it over to you, Gabe, about like how detrimental is it for the Jets to lose Aaron Rodgers? I get they got a big win against the Bills, but defense played a big part in that game. How do you feel about the outlook of this Jet season with Aaron Rodgers gone? And then we can swap over to Aaron Rodgers himself once you kind of go there.
It's the rare W that feels like an L, right? It's like, man, all this hype. I think he played a total of 75 seconds. You know, opening in New York City on 9/11. He comes out there with the flag.
Running out with the flag.
He comes out there with the flag. It was very patriotic. You know, it was a very strong moment. But then, 4 plays later, this guy's out. I think, man, this is a shot, right? Because all the hope, all the hype, was on this season, this Jet season, especially now. Hard Knocks, I don't know how Hard Knocks is going to be. I still feel like optimistic about the Jets. The Jets still shouldn't feel down. Like, I don't know about being hyped for Zach Wilson, but they still have a pretty complete team. Their defense is still pretty good. They have great weapons on offense. The only question is how the Jets will go as far as Zach Wilson is good. However good Zach Wilson decides to be this season, that's how good they'll be. I still think they're going to be, this opened up a slight window maybe for my Dolphins, but the Jets should still be a pretty good team. Like, it shouldn't be, it's just more Zach Wilson. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for better or for worse.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe, look, if he can just be a game manager and not turn over the ball, be effective in short passes, get the easy throws. If they can I don't know how well I trust Nathaniel Hackett to do this, but if Nathaniel Hackett can put him in a situation similar to what he did when Nathaniel Hackett was OC with Blake Bortles, look, as much as we absolutely trashed Hackett on this show for what he did as a head coaching job for the Denver Broncos, he did manage to make Blake Bortles serviceable during that 2017 year when they made it to the AFC Championship with the Jaguars. So if he can kind of reclaim that magic that he did and just, make it as easy as possible for Zach Wilson, and as long as Breece Hall can stay healthy and you can run the rock, your defense is going to do what it does. They can still be competitive. They can still push for the playoffs. It's just a matter of how consistent they can be. And I know there was talk of I don't know how much truth there was to it, but people thinking that they're going to bring somebody else in and whatnot. But I just want to showcase what Zach Wilson said to all that. and how his response was to all these people saying that they might bring somebody in. And here it is.
Oh, wow. I'm going to make Zach Wilson. If the Jets sign a quarterback, I'm going to make that dude's life hell. Listen, I think it's been announced already. I think Robert Saleh came out in a press conference saying Zach Wilson is our guy. That's fine. But the reports immediately that night were they're looking for veteran quarterbacks. A lot of speculation. They're talking about Tom Brady, but Tom Brady came out. No. He's had responses saying he's retired. Also, he has a stake in the Las Vegas Raiders. You can't be an owner or have a stake in one team and then play as an employee for another team. So if he wants to play for, also, if he wants to play NFL, he has to give up his stake, his interest in the Las Vegas Raiders, and maybe he'll play. So, but all indications are, as far as we know right now, week 2, as we record this, Tom Brady not in question. But they apparently they've been talking to veteran, whatever that means, veteran quarterbacks. So whoever's out there, I'm still trying to compile a list of names on that.
Here's what I think though, like you just saw. Like, and we can kind of transition this to like the whole turf talk, but it's like if you're a veteran, older age, you just saw Aaron Rodgers absolutely. I don't know if you saw the up close like zoom in of the actual pop itself. People are trying to say that he tore his Achilles because so and so was on top of him. No, you saw where that thing tore. It tore before he was even on top of him. He got caught, and with the way that field has taken a lot of people, and it's not talked about enough.
Yeah.
How many old veterans are going to want to play on that shit after seeing what just happened with Aaron Rodgers? And I'm glad that it's finally getting to a point in the NFL where people are actually like seriously talking about like, look, this turf shit is ridiculous. NFL wants to prop up these numbers and their revenue numbers about how we're the most profitable league in the entire world. We bring the most revenue in the entire world. We have $1 billion stadiums, all this, but yet you have plastic fields. It's like you can't claim all this, but then you look overseas to Europe and you see some of the most beautiful fields out there, and they refuse to do it. And that's where Aaron Rodgers' old teammate, and for the Green Bay Packers, the offensive lineman, I can't pronounce his name correctly, so I'm not going to try. But he's like, these NFL owners care more about the World Cup than they do about their own NFL teams. And to me, it's like, look, people want to say, yeah, they have to host all these other things and all this, but it's like, you can make it work.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, you guys are multi-billion dollar evaluated franchises. Make it fucking work. You guys want to spend billions of dollars on football fields? You guys can make it work. If high school and colleges and small teams in like fucking Europe can have these perfect grass fields, why can't you? Like, You can get it done. You can do what Vegas and Arizona do. Those are a little bit older techniques, but you can make it work. There's ways around this. Just think. I mean, but they don't want to spend the money. I mean, I think they said that something to maintain an NFL field is $800,000. I don't know if it's a year or a game, but it's like, dude, you invested $130 million in Aaron Rodgers, and you don't want to put $800,000 into a field
as an insurance policy. Yeah.
Like, and look, obviously football is a dangerous game, and there's going to be injuries. And people always point to, well, J.K. Dobbins tore his his Achilles this past weekend, and he's out for the season. Yes, no one's saying that injuries aren't going to happen if you switch to grass. What everybody's saying is eliminating turf injuries. Why are we going to put players in a situation where they can get hurt? That's something that's unrelated to actually getting touched.
Yeah, and so
the shit should be gone. And I've played on turf. I play on turf semi regularly. I make sure I don't wear deep cleats. I wear like smaller studs. And I talked about this last time. That you feel that shit in your knees. You feel it in your. It's just different. Like you're stomping on concrete and rubber at the end of the day. It's just not the same.
And I'm looking at an article here. It's on ESPN by Kevin Seifert. They're talking about, this was in April, so this is like earlier this year, but even before the season started, showing that non-contact injuries are at a way higher rate on artificial turf than grass. They said injuries in general, they've been creeping up, grass versus turf, in the past year from like 2020 to 2022 have been creeping up, but in general, non-contact injuries, not guys hitting each other, just guys running and pivoting and stuff are way worse on turf. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be difficult. This is like something they have to negotiate with the players union, right? This is something they have to negotiate because they have to get all 32 owners on board that we're gonna play on the same, you know, I mean, for all arenas, all cities, all temperatures, all times of year. They're gonna, you know, play on the same grass or some kind of standard of grass. But I don't think this is. To me, it's an interesting conversation, but I don't think it's anything that's going to happen anytime soon. Like within whenever the next CBA is going to happen, like no changes are going to be made. Like these stadiums are going to stay exactly the same.
No, nothing this
These
season.
owners are going to be stubborn. They're not going to make any. You should, you know, like you said, Julian, you should invest. You should invest in an insurance policy of keeping grass to keep your players safe. Not only your top tier players, just all your players in general. If you feel like you have a good product and you want to put it out there, you should put grass. I understand. It comes at a cost, but you know, how many people are gonna watch Hard Knocks now? I mean, maybe hardcore Jets fans. Like all the hype is kind of, like I said, the Jets should still be a good team, but I don't think, you know, this is a big blow as far as the potential of what the Jets could have accomplished in the next year or 2 years. So now, you know, Aaron Rodgers reportedly he already came out showing pictures post surgery. He had his surgery already, so he's in a boot. I think he was on Pat McAfee earlier making jokes. There was a lot of memes. Did you see the memes that happened after Aaron Rodgers? A lot of memes.
Yeah, I just wanna pull this up.
Oh, turn the sound off.
So this is Real Madrid, a team that doesn't make as much money as an NFL stadium, as an NFL team, and they're able to make it work with underground grow labs and being able to pool the field underground so they can have a flat platform at top for like other events. We've seen this not only for Real Madrid, which has the most advanced system, but we've seen it with simpler systems like we've seen in Tottenham for the NFL games. I don't know if you saw the conversions, and that's the most ridiculous part of it all, is that you have, like, when they play games in London and they play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they literally pull away the grass and pull out a turf for the NFL games. Like that's crazy. Absurd to me. It's absurd to me. I almost want to see if I could find it, but it's like, dude, it's crazy that they literally pull out grass to put turf for these NFL games because these owners in the league just doesn't care. And it's insane to me. It's like, and you know what's annoying too is you see these people online trying to like defend the fact why there's turf. That is such a stupid ass, dumb ass hill to die on. Why do you care? Like it's such a, like, why are you defending turf? Like, it makes no sense to me. Well, stats don't show this. That who gives a fuck? Even if there is no stats, at the end of the day, if you've ever played on turf, which most of the people that probably say that the turf injuries is stupid and it's not real, and probably people who've never played on turf, probably doesn't even regularly play. They probably sit in their fucking house all day and just go to work back and forth. Because if you've played on it, you realize there is a difference. Yes, you can be faster, but the shock waves that you get on your feet is completely different than when you play on grass.
Yeah, it's
completely different. And it's just like, obviously not every stadium is going to be able to do this, and there's unique cases, but yeah, I think you're right. Nothing's going to happen in the past few years. I think the closest thing that could happen is, so all those fields that have turf now, they're all going to be hosting World Cup games. So they're going to have to pull that shit out and put grass because FIFA's not allowing it.
Yeah.
And they're not going to let them do like what they did this past summer when the European teams came over for their American tours, which is basically put grass on top of turf. That's just not going to fly either. They're going to have to legit tear that shit out and put an actual grass field. And I think the only way it gets done is if the NFLPA can find some sort of way to where it's like to make them leave it, or come up with some sort of agreement to, like, once they put the grass in for these soccer games, that they have to leave it. But
which I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
It's definitely an interesting debate.
New England's is by far the worst, by the way. New England's is dog shit. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just, it blows my mind that people defend this. And it's like, this is such a stupid ass hill to die on. It's literally football. It's a field sport. Play it on fucking grass. And it's like, and who's to say too, the long-term effects of like all these kids, because now we're getting more and more colleges putting turf. FIU, for example, their turf is horrendous. They have horrendous turf. You can see it on the TV how bad it is. And it's like they're literally just running on concrete with cleats. And it's and you think about it, if you're playing this shit and now high schools are putting it in, you put high school, then to college, and then in the NFL, these kids are just playing on fucking concrete. Like, and mind you, these are the football players, so they're big fucking dudes. Like the amount of joint pain and shit that happens. That's the thing. People want to talk about like the injuries, but they don't talk about like the long-term effects that could happen from that. I mean, it's the same reason why a lot of these big centers in like the NBA can't last. It's all the jumping and shit on the hardwood. Yeah. It's the same thing that they're experiencing, and those basketball shoes are better suited for that than these cleats are on fucking concrete.
So the question remains: is the Jet season over? Are we done with the Jets? That's it. It's all finished.
So as for the Jets, no, I think they have hope. I think, like I said, I still stand by what I said earlier. If Zach Wilson can at least be a game manager, they can run the ball. The defense can keep them in games. It's possible. I mean, they beat the Bills. The Bills are one of the best teams in the AFC. They have been for the past few years. They beat the Bills last year. All you need, I mean, we saw the last year with, what was it, Joe Flacco and Mike White. If they can just, all you need is a game man. Zach Wilson doesn't need to be a hero. And it looks like he has the support of his teammates. So as long as he can just play clean ball, they can win a lot of games. So, yeah. I mean, do you think Aaron Rodgers will come back ever?
I think so. I think he still has.
He did come out and say on Pat McAfee that he is. But, that's a lot of talking for now. I mean,
you say it now. I mean, you have the surgery. You haven't actually gone through the grueling thing of actually doing the rehab and actually getting up to speed, to NFL speed. I do think he has a year, maybe two. I think he has at least 1 year. I'll give him 1 year of NFL play, and then maybe he might say it's over. This is not the end of Aaron Rodgers. I think we'll get 1 more year out of him at least. And, whatever happens after that, I don't know. But overall, if I'm looking at the schedule this first week, because they have a bye week of week 7, so they're playing. Next week, week 2, they play at Dallas, they play New England, they play Kansas City, they play at Denver, and they play Philly. I mean, those are tough games.
Damn, that's a tough schedule.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. I mean, maybe they get 2 wins, maybe they beat Denver, maybe they beat New England. But that's pretty tough. I think they can beat
the Cowboys.
Oh, we'll talk about the Cowboys later.
Dak is going to throw some picks, and that's all they need.
We'll see. But I don't think the Jets season is over. I think there's still hope, but we're still early. It's just week 1, man. I'm not going to hyperventilate off of just one guy, one injury. Although it's big, he is the biggest acquisition of the summer. I think the Jets still they got a chance. I mean, come on, guys. Let's get to week 7 and we'll talk about it afterwards. All right.
Well, let's talk about the biggest upset. And what is that upset, Gabe?
Bro, let's talk about the Browns-Bengals, because I know we both picked the Bengals to win this game. There was I know Joe Burrow's coming off an injury, signed the biggest contract or whatever. I was like, there's no way. The Browns are not that good. Based off last year, I was like, there was no way that it would have even be close. But listen, the Browns, they had something to show for it. So let's talk about the game. I thought the biggest highlights that I saw were Eli Moore, even though he didn't have a lot of points. Peoples-Jones.
Elijah Moore.
I'm sorry. Elijah Moore, he was had a nice couple plays. Peoples-Jones had 100 yards catching. I thought Chubb looked pretty good. And Deshaun Watson kind of looked like the old Watson. And he was out there running around, scrambling, making plays. It was rainy. It was a rainy game. A lot of drop passes, a lot of drop balls. But, I mean, they played okay. And based off the game, Joe Burrow, I thought had better protection. Maybe there was a couple times he got sacked one time. I thought he had better protection this game for a little bit. But, one game, you know what I mean? We have 17 games. Who knows the injuries, who get tired. But they surprised me. The Browns surprised me. I'm sorry to say, Julian. What were your thoughts on the game?
By the way, Gabe, the box scores that you put on here is the wrong game.
Damn.
I was wondering why this doesn't seem right. You had all these stats up, and I'm like, this is not right. I was like, this makes no sense. All right, now we got the right stats up. Here we go. So yeah, I mean, this was just a bad game. in general, this was a really bad game. To be fair to us, when we came to picking this game, we did not check the weather forecast. We did not realize they were going to be playing it.
Hey, you make a choose for yourself. I'm not making excuses. I just thought Joe Burrow was just going to win, regardless if he's injured or whatever. I thought he was going to win.
Yeah, I didn't expect so much the weather to be so bad. So obviously they played a factor. But to be fair, I mean, they shouldn't have been as bad as they were. Joe Burrow had a horrendous game. He 14 for 31, had a 22.8 QBR. So really bad. I'm not with you with the protection. Yeah, he had only 2 sacks, but I thought that he was getting pressured all game long. And I will say I felt like a lot of offensive lines throughout the entire week 1. They all looked shaky. They all looked really bad. And I think a part of it's because like a lot of these guys are not playing in preseason. They're being cautious and all that. And now they're just jumping into it week 1, not really getting warmed up at all. Versus like where a lot of D linemen were running some reps in preseason. So I think things might clean up a little bit more as we get into the weeks. But it is still a major concern for the Bengals if they can't like clean that up at all, because I mean, when you talk about the Bengals for the past 3 years, the number one thing we keep on talking about is how they can't protect. They can't pass pro at all. They've been semi all right in the run game and making lanes, but when it comes to actual like when Joe Burrow steps back and they can't pass protect. So yeah, I mean, the offense was essentially non-existent. I mean, 82 yards. I mean, Joe Mixon only had 75 total rushing yards, which you would expect in a rainy game like this that they would run the ball more, which I did think was a little odd how they were throwing so much. I mean, Joe Burrow shouldn't be throwing 31 times. And mind you, he got pulled out of the game. So he shouldn't be throwing 31 times in that fucking rain.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's crazy. The game plan seemed completely off there. As for the Browns, I mean, I think they took advantage of the situation that they were. I know you're kind of hyping up Deshaun Watson. I don't think he looked that great. I mean, a couple of the throws that he made, players were like wide open, as you could be. Anybody can make that throw, super wide open. But then he had like a really dumb interception. He relied a little heavily on his legs. I mean, his total QBR was 63, so it wasn't like he had the greatest game either. But they were able to run the ball. I mean, look, over 200 yards rushing, 106 yards for Nick Chubb, 45 for Deshaun Watson, Ford 36, Elijah Moore 19, and Elijah Moore also had 33 receptions. So not a whole lot in the air, only 144 yards in the air, but they were able to pound it right up the Bengals' gut, because the problem was the Bengals, they couldn't stop the run. That's what it seemed like. It seems like they lost the game in the trenches. The defense were leaving some, and then the moments that they were able to get some big plays down the field with throwing, they were just completely wide open. So, I mean, I don't know. This is just one of those weird week 1 kind of fluky games. I think the Browns are going to be slightly better. Don't get me wrong, but like, I wouldn't take too much out of this Bengals game. I think a lot of people are like super worried about this, and don't get me wrong, Joe Burrow, I had him on my fantasy team. He completely bombed for me, but I still won because Tyreek Hill saved me.
Oh, but we'll talk about that game later.
But no, I mean, if I'm a Bengals fan, it's just, it happens. I get why they pulled him out. The game was over. Just get it over with. It's pouring rain. It's Cleveland. Like, it's one of those fluky games. We'll see how the Cleveland can keep up the momentum. And that's what I'm really more curious about. Yeah. But I guess how do you feel about the Bengals going forward? And then we'll switch over to the Browns.
I think this is a big loss for them, right? This is a division rivalry. Obviously, weather being bad. It was raining, but it didn't look like it was downpouring raining that hard. It was wet. There were drop passes.
The cameras can kind of hide it sometimes.
Really? You think so?
Because sometimes, you never like watch some game like from the sideline, the main camera, and then they do a zoom in, and then you see the rain pouring down on the zoom in, but like from the. I don't know, that happens a lot. Sometimes I don't even realize it's raining in the game until they zoom in, and then you're like, oh shit, it's raining.
Yeah, to me, there was a couple drop passes. Jamar Chase dropped a couple passes, but Joe Burrow, it didn't look Super Bowl to me. Mixon was probably the highlight of the game for the Bengals. But again, week 1, it's a tough loss. You don't want to lose to a division rivalry, especially when, like I said, I wasn't expecting anything out of the Browns. But week 1, we move on to next week. We'll talk about their next game, week 2, our preview. But it's a tough loss, but you think you move on. You have 16 other games you got to worry about. We'll see. We'll evaluate. Joe Burrow. We'll see if his injury is hindering him. Maybe in better weather he plays better. We'll see.
All right, so let's transition this to the Browns. Do you think this was just a fluky win from the Browns, or do you genuinely think the Browns are getting better?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I got to see a couple games. Me, I don't like to give predictions and be like, okay, week 1, I can project they're going to go to second round.
Gabe, you're going to say this at week 16. You're like, no. I don't know. It's gonna
give
be
me
like
4 or 5 weeks. Give me 4 or 5 weeks. Let me see how the teams go. You know what I mean? This game, I honestly, I didn't have on my radar. I wasn't looking out for this. I was like, Bengals win this easy. So it was a surprise. So for me, surprise win. Great win for the Browns. To me, Deshaun Watson, he was scrambling very well. Like, obviously, with the weather, I can't tell you, like, oh, he's going to be projected, he's going to be MVP or something. But he had a game. He played a game, productive, good enough to win. Is that good enough? Like I said, I like Chubb and I like Moore. They played very well. I think those are the highlights of that team. And Deshaun Watson didn't play garbage. He didn't play ass like last year. So that's my takeaway from the Browns. I mean, we'll go into week 2 our predictions for the next game, but it's a good win. I can't say it's a bad. It's bad that you beat the Bengals. It's a good win. Like, you beat a division rivalry week 1.
Yeah, I think, like, for me, like I say it again, it's one of those weird wins where it's like you don't really.
Like,
Gabe's cat jumped in front of the camera for the audio listeners, but no, it's just one of those weird wins where it's like you don't really know. I mean, it wasn't like the Browns looked great outside of the rushing. And I think that's going to be the Browns' MO this season. I think if they're going to want to win games, they got to win it on the ground. I don't know if Deshaun Watson is that same guy anymore. I don't think he'll ever be a top 5 quarterback again. Personally, he seems like he's just kind of lost it. But, I mean, he's still young enough. He could potentially gain it back. And to be fair, it was a super rainy game. There wasn't a lot of aerial attack in the first place. But it wasn't like we saw much of it last year. Maybe he was just treating last year like a preseason because of the weird suspension thing and all this. But yeah, I'm kind of usually I like to give a feel, kind of take a little bit more into week 1 because I do think it says something. But I think that's just one of those weird ones where it's just like, I really don't know, because it wasn't like he looked really great throwing the football, but the attack, the offensive line was able to make runs. I mean, 200 rushing yards is no joke. I mean, they're averaging, the entire team averaging 5.2 yards a carry. I mean, Chubb himself had 5.9 yards a carry, and same thing with Watson had 9 yards a carry. So, the offense is dynamic. I mean, with Njoku, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Nick Chubb, and then Peoples-Jones can be decent at times. He can be serviceable at times, and then Deshaun Watson with his legs will always be a threat. It's just a matter of, I don't know. I think I'm kind of with you on this one, even though I don't normally say things like this, but it's kind of like a wait and see type of thing.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. I'm done talking about Deshaun Watson. It kind of bothers me a little bit. But let's talk about a real team.
It's your favorite player, dude.
Let's talk about some Super Bowl contenders right here, okay? Finally, listen. We talked about it last time. The discussion is over. Tua versus Herbert. We don't have to talk about it anymore. Okay, it's definitive. Tua put up 400 yards, 466 versus the Chargers. Let's talk about that game.
On.
Oh shit! You fucked me up. See, I was trying to quick add. I'm sorry, I messed up a little bit. But let's talk about the Dolphins-Chargers game. Dolphins going on the road. They got to travel. You talk about the going West Coast. I think you predicted the Chargers to win. Let me pull up my other stats because I have the pick'ems from last week. I'm pretty sure you picked the Chargers. But let's talk about this game a little bit. Takeaways: Tua coming out with the win. Honestly, if I had to interject here, the first 3 quarters, I felt like the Chargers had it. I feel like the Chargers were pretty good. Now, they made a dumb play going into the half. I think there was Dolphins had the ball with, last 2 minutes. They make a dumb Jackson. I think their cornerback is Jackson on the Chargers. Makes a dumb pass interference. They get
J.C. Jackson.
Yeah. They make they get in field goal. They kick a field goal going into the half. So I feel like the first 3 quarters were all Chargers, and I feel like this game was won in the last two drives, on offense and on defense. The Dolphins won this game in two drives on offense and on defense at the end of the game. Yeah, I don't know what your takeaways from the game. I thought Moser had a pretty good game. He was pretty good. He was all right running the ball. But obviously the highlight is Tyreek Hill. Tyreek, you can talk about your fantasy team and how Tyreek pulled it through for you.
I mean, dropped 44 points for me in our PPR league, so that was nice. And yeah, I pretty much made up for all the lack of Joe Burrow points that I got. But yeah, I mean, this was a super entertaining game. I mean, it ended up turning into a shootout. Obviously, both defenses did not look good at all. I don't know if that's a worry for you going forward for the Dolphins. I mean, this is the Chargers. This is a high-powered offense. But this is also the same Chargers team who got shut out in the playoffs in the second half of the playoffs last year against the Jaguars. So, I mean, I guess how do you feel about? Do you think this Dolphins defense is going to be a hindrance to them when they come against probably teams with better defenses? Like, because obviously Chargers aren't the same as what they once were. I mean, they've been allowing points left and right. And when you go up against like a team like the Jets, who aren't going to allow you to put up 36 on them, does that worry you in that aspect of
Yeah. It does. Absolutely. It does worry me because the run, I mean, you saw the yardage. They gave up 200 yards on offense, 200 rushing yards, the Dolphins defense did. And yeah, that's a huge problem. I think we stuck away with this game. Like I said, I think the Chargers dominated for 3 quarters and the Dolphins won this game on 2 drives at the end. It does worry me. I'm glad we got on the road and got away with the win. It is going to worry me, especially against teams that have good. When we play the Jets and they have Breece Hall, that's going to worry me going forward.
I mean, yeah, that seems like the perfect type of team that could really take you on. I mean, it's a team that's stout defensively and can run the ball.
Yeah,
which seems like as of week 1, that seems like the formula is if you can pressure Tua and not allow him to get to Tyreek Hill or Waddle or whoever. That seems like the formula. Obviously, easier said than done because the way Mike McDaniel's offense runs is get the ball out quick. Yeah, and obviously that fits Tua the best,
especially with a guy like Tyreek Hill who can get open in like 3 seconds. It does worry me. As far as offensively, I think Tua played pretty good. Like him and Tyreek, obviously, he had some disgusting throws. There was one touchdown. He just threw in like a small pocket. It was impossible throw, but Tyreek came up with it. I don't know why the Chargers left Tyreek on the island. They left him on 1-on-1. They were not double teaming him. It was just like corner, just manning him up. Their zone seemed not there. And
yeah, Tyreek Chargers defense is getting worse, dude.
I don't see if whoever. As bad as Vic Fangio was for us on defense, there's no way any other team can leave Tyreek Hill that open. Like without a double team, you have to double team Tyreek Hill. He's too fast. Like you know what I mean? I think going forward, I am worried. Like I said, I am worried about this defense if they're not able to stop runs, because that means you have to make up for points on the offense. And we'll see. I feel like we stole this game. Great game for Tua. Finally, people can Like I said, the conversation's over. Tua better than Herbert. We'll never discuss this ever again. This discussion will not come up the rest of the season.
I don't know if I'm gonna go that far.
I'm just fucking worried. I'm joking around.
To be fair, I will say with like the thing with the Chargers and Herbert, I think the Chargers are I feel like their window is closed. I feel like this is their last year because Keenan Allen's getting older. How many years can Eckler keep on playing like how he's playing, in which he's been playing incredible the past 2 years? And it looks like he's going to do it again this year. Oh my God. Mike Williams, he got injured. Is he out for the season, I want to say?
Ooh, let me look that up. I know he was injured last year.
He's one of their big star receivers.
A couple weeks. And he's big. That's a big dude.
He's a big one-on-one guy. Yeah. He's a big one-on-one guy. He's a one-on-one threat, jump ball threat. So
it said
I'm worried for the Chargers this season.
quick note. It said Mike Williams briefly left the game in the second quarter, taking a strong shot to the head, but shortly returned and wound up with a big catch in the fourth. So he was out for a little bit.
Okay, I knew he got hurt. I wasn't sure if it was like something bad because I had to miss the very end of the game, which I heard was just insane, and I watched later on. So in the highlights don't really show what ends up happening with injured players and stuff. But yeah, I look. I've been a big Tua critic. I've been harping on him. I don't think he's that great. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if he'll ever be like amazing. I mean, the guy, I do think they put him in the perfect situation, though, to make him look good and succeed. You give him the best wide receiving core in the league. You give him an offense that is built and tailored for him to get the ball out quick and doesn't force him to throw the ball deep.
Yeah.
And I give complete credit to the entire Mike McDaniel system and how they've been able to build around him to make him succeed in the best way he possibly can. And I think he's going to continue to play super well, and that offense is going to continue to be dynamic because it's just too many. It's too many weapons, and even with the run game, you can get it kind of moving with Moser. Obviously, you can get better in the run, and this game kind of turned into a shootout. And this game kind of turned into a shootout. And when things kind of happen like that, you kind of you kind of leave the run behind. But yeah, I think going into these next couple of weeks, I mean, the biggest concern is can the Dolphins stop the rush? But obviously, I mean, the Chargers, they had the capability to do it. Austin Eckler was one of the best running backs in the league last year. So,
yeah,
you kind of take it with a grain of salt, but it's still worrisome. And you shouldn't be getting 34 points.
200 yards is too much.
Who your opponent is. Not in the NFL.
Yeah.
Not in the NFL. So, but yeah, I mean, I think the Dolphins, shit, I mean, man, that AFC East is going to be tough. It's going to be super tough. I mean, the Patriots are going to suck, so I have no faith in them. But, I mean, people are trashing on Josh Allen and all this stuff with that Jets game. But, I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's still the Bills. And like you said, in your division, man, they can run the ball. New England can run the ball really well. Now with Dalvin Cook, he actually looks like alive again. He actually looked pretty good for the Bills Monday night. And then obviously Breece Hall, back from injury, seems to be back better than ever. So having 233 yards, and now you have a division where you got to play each team twice that can all run the ball pretty effectively is pretty scary. I feel a lot better than I did, especially with Aaron Rodgers out. I feel a lot better than I do about the Dolphins potentially winning this division than I did prior.
Besides the yardage, giving up that many yards, that's also ticks on the clock. So as much as they're running, that means they have the ball, and that seconds running up the clock, that's less possession for your team. So that in that way, I am concerned with the Dolphins going forward. But listen, I'll take the W, bro. We go on the road, I'll take the W. Okay, Herbert, you're done. You're done in this town. Okay, you get out of here. Let's talk about another game of the week. Something that surprised me. How about them Cowboys, man? I mean,
that's your favorite team, man.
This had to be the absolutely worst game of the entire week. It was a late game, only game on TV. Thank God the Giants suck so bad. I told you.
Because they can't help but to put the Cowboys on Sunday night. I swear, I've seen more Cowboy games on Sunday night than I've seen any other team play on Sunday night. Like, if I had to put the Cowboys Sunday night lineup versus like the field, I'm pretty sure I've seen more Cowboys games on Sunday night than I've seen any other matchup.
Thank God, it ended early by halftime. I think they were up 30 or 33-0. Put everybody to bed so everybody can go to sleep, early. Make it to work on time on Monday. But yeah, I'm actually surprised by the Cowboys. Listen, I told you I've heard from the experts. I'm not me. Listen, I'm a certified by the state of Texas, certified Cowboys hater. Okay, I don't like them. But I've been hearing from the experts. I've been hearing from the experts. They say, hey, Cowboys, pretty good this season. So,
Gabe,
as a hater, I'm in a contradiction.
Experts?
I'm in a contradiction. Orlovsky is saying it.
Who are these? Who are these? Are these Cowboy experts?
I mean,
are these Cowboy fans?
These are just gas bags that I love watching TV.
I will believe it when I see it. They've been saying the Cowboys are going to be good every single year since I've been alive.
But this year, different.
And they've said that every year. They said, but this year is different. Look, every time they make the playoffs and they make it to the second round, the next year they like completely miss it. I don't know like the exact stats, but it seems to be the case. It's one year they make it, the next year they don't. This is that year. They made it last year. Can they do it this year? Look, the Cowboys are always good on paper. But the Cowboys are still the Cowboys. And also, too, you never know what you're going to get with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, to me, is literally Tony Romo 2.0. He's literally Tony Romo 2.0. They managed to find themselves another Tony Romo. A guy who makes a lot of money and isn't a top 5 quarterback. And is never good enough to get you over the hump. Look, the Cowboys... should they be a playoff team? Yes. Are they going to win the division? I don't think so. They're definitely going to compete, and it's going to be close. But the Eagles are just too good. And look, I'll believe it when I see it. They've been talking about, they love to talk. They'll talk about the Cowboys every single day on ESPN or whatever the fuck, as much as they possibly can. They love the Cowboys for whatever reason. I guess they have the biggest fan base, whatever. Like, I still stand by the fact that Cowboy fans aren't football fans. They're Cowboy fans.
Yeah. But listen, I want to give them their credit. Listen, 40-0, that's an ass tapping. Yeah. That's an ass tapping. No points.
I do want to talk about the Giants, though. What the fuck happened to the Giants?
I told you, man. I didn't know about the team.
Won a playoff game. It's a team who won a playoff game last year. Look, everybody was questioning the Daniel Jones payday. I thought the payday was pretty reasonable for what he is. Like, it wasn't that much. And he was a guy, he won a playoff game. He was serviceable last year. Is he ever going to be great? No. But he could be a game manager. He could be able to, he obviously won playoff games. I did not expect them to lose as bad as they did. I think we can chalk this up to another one of those week one things because look, there's always those. Every year, week ones are always weird. Always weird. Cowboys are not going to 40-0 no other team for the rest of the season. That's not going to happen. And then they try to blame Brian Dable because he had a party last night. And then he came out and was like, bullshit. Yeah.
It was his son.
He's like, yeah, it was my son's birthday party.
It was 8th birthday party or some shit or something.
Yeah. Bro, I was like, how stupid you must have felt? Like, you must have thought that you got him.
Got him.
Yeah, sorry. It was my son's 6th birthday party. Like, he doesn't even watch football.
Like, he doesn't have a fucking life or something? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
But, yeah, I don't know. Like, this is just one of those weird games. Cowboy fans are going to run with it and say that they're going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I love it. Look, you know why?
I'm not going to be lying.
They're setting themselves up for disappointment later in the season. That's why I love it.
Look, I mean, if you look at it now, I mean, the NFC is super weak. So it's like, yeah, by default, they're going to be probably a top 3 team in the NFC. Yeah. And because the NFC is so weak. Like, I mean, you got the Eagles, the Niners, I guess the Cowboys, and then the Vikings didn't look good. Who knows? I mean, I just, who else is out there in the NFC? Like, seriously, I'm drawing a complete blank.
Yeah,
give me someone from the NFC. Oh, Lions, maybe.
Lions. I don't
give me outside of the Eagles, Cowboys, and the Niners. I mean, who else is pushing them?
49ers? Are they good?
That's what I said. I said the Niners, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. The only other team I can think that's like in that realm is like the Lions. Man, the NFC is so weak.
Seahawks lost.
When you actually think about it.
I would have thought, based off last year, I'm a Geno fan. I'm a Seahawks fan.
Well, NFC South sucks. You think Baker's going to take them?
I don't know, man. NFC.
I mean, New Orleans could be sneaky good, but I mean, I don't know, man. That NFC is atrocious. Like, I'm thinking NFC South, NFC North, NFC West, NFC. Like, it's a 3-team race over there, man.
Yeah. Well, good for y'all. Good for y'all,
let's-
Cowboys fans. Type it in. Type all your hate. Okay, I'm looking at the comments. Type all your hate. But listen, you had a good game. Week 1, you had a good 1 week. We'll see going forward. Yo,
Well, for how bad the NFC is, now let's look at how good the AFC is. AFC, super, super deep. And now we're going to switch to, we're done talking about week 1. Let's get into week 2. And we're going to talk about our game of the week, what we think could potentially be an AFC playoff matchup. And this could have a lot of playoff implications down the road, I think. And that is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a huge game, a complete rematch from last year in the divisional round of the playoffs. Jaguars, the only team to sweep the Jaguars last year was the Kansas City Chiefs. They lost to them earlier in the season. I forgot the exact week. And they lost to them in the playoffs, both times being at Kansas City. And here's why I think this game is so important. Because Kansas City has hosted the last 5 AFC championship games. The last 5. If the Jags could pull out a victory here, bring the KC down to 0-2, and with how deep this AFC title is, that could have a lot of, that's going to affect home field advantage. And we have yet to see Patrick Mahomes really play on the road in the playoffs. He's almost always at home. Think about all these Kansas City runs, or when they're in the playoffs, they're always at home. And this is a chance for the Jags. One, this is going to be a measuring stick of how good are they really going to be. They looked, this past week, the Jags looked, we dove into the Kansas City game week 1. We dive into the Jags game this past week. This is a game, they didn't look great. They were kind of a little sloppy, but they still dropped 31 points. And I think only held the Colts to a touchdown in the second half. So, and that's with not a good game. And that's crazy, even coming from me saying that like, I didn't think that game was played that well. And yet they still dropped 31. The offense is going to be a top 3 offense in the league. Calvin Ridley is everything advertised. The guy is back. He's played so well. That first half, he completely lit it up. 8 catches, 114 yards, somewhere around there, and a touchdown.
Yeah, he had 100 yards. 101 and 1 touchdown.
101, okay. And I believe he had 8 receptions. So, and most of that came in the first half. And in the second half, it was just what kind of hurt the Jags that pass. And I don't want to say hurt them because they won the game, but like one of the big gripes a lot of fans are having was just weird play calling. It didn't really make sense. I felt a lot of people would have felt like, and myself included, that they didn't really let like Trevor cook. Like they didn't really like let him throw the ball, let him sling it. They kind of did like a lot of running, and it was odd. But nonetheless, even with all that bad play calling, you know what they say: if a bad team, if you can still win while having a bad performance, that's a sign of a good team. And the fact that they dropped 31 and didn't have their best performance is something that's a lot of people in the AFC should really be thinking about. And I think this game, if you really want to put yourself up against the reigning defending champs at Kansas City, this is the game you do it. And I think we're going to look back at this game when playoffs come around, and it's going to have I guarantee you this game is going to have a lot of ripple effects on how the playoffs shake out, whether the Jaguars can fight for that number 1 home field advantage spot or Kansas City can get knocked out, because I truly believe the Jags are a title contender this year. This is their window. It is officially open. And
took you a year. You had to go through Urban Meyer, but
you have Kansas City, who, you have Kansas City, who's going to be probably the toughest team you face. The Bills, they look like they've shown how they can lose. They looked human. The Jets are going to be tough, but you have Zach Wilson. The Chargers are going to charger. You know that. Now, Miami is going to be a tough one, because if Miami can stay healthy through the end of the season, that's going to be a tough team to beat. But it looks like Miami's defense is going to be really shaky. And I think even though the Jags defense isn't great, they have about an average defense that can play a little above average at times, which I think is good enough. As long as the defense can show up when they need to, that'd be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so it looks like all accounts point to that Chris Jones is coming back for the Chiefs. Travis Kelce looks like he's going to be coming back after missing week 1. And that scares the absolute shit out of me as a Jaguars fan, but I'm still not scared. I still have confidence that they can win this game. I think the Chiefs might pull it out just for that home field advantage. Doug Peterson is 0-3 against his mentor of Andy Reid. Obviously, Doug Peterson comes from the Andy Reid tree. Followed him when Doug Peterson was a quarterback at Green Bay and Philly, all that stuff. So, and then went with him to Kansas City as his OC. So, I think there's a lot of things like kind of riding on this game where it's like, this is a team who beat you in the playoffs last year. That if you didn't make a lot of dumb mistakes, you potentially could have won that game, if not made that game a hell of a lot closer. And you have our coach, which probably feels like he has to, like, you got to beat your mentor. Like, you know, and I would imagine that you kind of have that feeling. Like, I feel like that means a lot to him, I would imagine. So it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be in the 20s. I don't think you're going to see like what you saw with like the Dolphins Chargers, like in the 30s. You might see 27-24 or 28-24, something like that. But it's going to be a really good game. But I do feel like the Jaguars are contenders. But I will say from you, I'm pointing to you as an outsider. What could this win mean for the Jags? And even if they do lose this, do you still agree with me in the fact that the Jags could be title contenders or AFC title contenders?
No, I'm not going to go all the way and say they're title contenders. Are they contenders in the playoffs? Do they have a chance? I do think they should go deep in the playoffs. I do think the Jags should go deep in the playoffs. Do they make it to the Super Bowl? I'm not. I guess
would you consider that a contender though? If you have them going deep,
I have them being playoff contenders. They're not like at the bottom. They're not like the Patriots or something, right? This is their year. This is your window. All right, the window has opened. All right, you had to take a year off with Urban Meyer. This is your T-Law window right now. I thought
everybody's cheap.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's cheap too on rookie deals.
And also on the other side is like, do the Chiefs go down 0-2? Because if they go down 0-2, then I have a whole different thought process, right? Because last year the narrative for me, and I believed in it too, was like, it doesn't matter who Patrick Mahomes has. He lost Tyreek Hill, doesn't matter, because I'll make a bunch of names. I'll make him famous, right? Because he's that Jordan type where Patrick Mahomes will make anybody around him good. So I feel like this is going to be an important game going forward. Jags now is this a bit end all be all? No, but if they can get us a win against the Chiefs, then I think this is like a statement game. Like people are going to be looking like, oh wow, the Jags, they beat the Chiefs. Maybe not the Colts game, but if you beat the Chiefs, you beat the 2-time champion. I mean, that's going to catch some attention. That should catch headlines.
And like I was hearing a Chiefs fan talk about it. He says in the Chiefs' mind, he feels like this is a must-win game. Like the Chiefs can't drop it.
Yeah,
because he feels that if the Chiefs lose this game, you go down 0-2 against a potential AFC contender, that could affect home field. And like I said earlier, and that's where I kind of got it from. The Chiefs haven't lost or haven't played away during the playoffs. They've always been at home.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess, do you see it being? I don't know. Like, do you see the implications that I think? Like, do you find it as a must-win game for Kansas City? I guess.
Yeah.
Because I think it is a must-win.
I mean, if you look at the schedule, I mean, they have to win this game. I mean, I think the Chiefs going down 0-2, it won't be a good look, right? Especially with kind of these receivers. I mean, Scantling had I think Scantling was probably their best receiver for them. Who's the other guy? Tony. That was the guy who dropped tons of passes.
Yeah,
man. He had a terrible game.
Kadarius Toney.
Ooh, he had a bad game.
And that's the thing with the Chiefs is they don't. Outside of Kelce, like they're not scary to me. like obviously you have Patrick Mahomes, probably the greatest talent to ever grace the football field, but like they have no receivers, and you take away Kelsey. I mean, the fucking Lions beat them, and we obviously I think the Lions are decent, but it's like they're not scary to me. Obviously, Chris Jones coming back is going to be a big thing, but like even the defense doesn't really scare me either. Like I genuinely believe it's really wide open, and every game must feel like a must win against each AFC team you play up against, no matter what. Like this Dolphins Chargers game, that was like a must. Like you got to win your AFC games against a tough division, against the tough opponent. You're
probably fighting for those spots over there. Yeah,
Jets Bills, like you know what I mean. Like those are huge games. I think it's going to be the NFL is going to be the AFC.
Yo, so let's get into it, man. Let's talk about week 2, man.
Yeah,
let's get into our predictions for the week. Let's do our pick 'em. Right now, as of last week, we did our pick 'em last week. There was 15 games, so we missed that Thursday night football. Obviously, the opening game it passed, but 15 games out of 15 games. Julian picked 6 correct, so 6 out of 15. I picked 8 out of 15. I'm 2 more games better than him. We're not going to talk about all the games that covered, but we're doing our pick, and we're going to check in weekly to see who's doing better. But let's talk about week 2, our predictions going forward for the week.
All right, so you had 7, I had 6, and obviously we're picking against the spread.
And by the way, this is after Thursday, so the Thursday game already happened, so we're not picking that Thursday game, but we're going to pick the rest of the games on Sunday.
Yeah. By the time this goes up, everybody's going to kind of get that anyways. But all right, week 2, first game on the docket, Green Bay Packers at the Atlanta Falcons. Green Bay plus 1.5 at Atlanta Falcons minus 1.5. Falcons as the home favorites. The odds being exactly the same with the minus 110, but the money line going towards the Falcons. I'm going to take the Falcons here at home. The Falcons had a statement win against the Panthers. Obviously, the Panthers not good. But I think the Falcons actually looks really decent, and Green Bay is not going to be super strong either. I think Falcons are going to, get those easy wins and clean up. I think they're good enough to win this game and get the spread and cover.
I'm going to go opposite. I did not watch this game. I think the Packers had a surprise win. To me, it was a boo-boo with the Packers. I didn't want to watch that. I think they beat the Bears last week. I'll go Packers. Yeah. Packers on the road. This spread is too close. I feel like they can probably win this game. It'll be a close game. Again, I'm not super hype about this game, but Packers on the road. Give me the Packers on the road.
All right. We got the Chicago Bears at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bears plus 2.5, Tampa Bay minus 2.5, with the odds leaning towards Tampa to cover the spread at minus 120 with the Bears minus 102. Who do you got, Gabe?
I told you, listen, the Bears, I'm not saying the Bears are a Super Bowl team. I'm just saying better than whatever you think they are. I'm going to go with the road team. Listen, I don't know how good or bad the Bucs are. I'm going to go with the road team. Give me the Bears to win this game. I'll go with the Bears. I'm going off board right now. I'm picking two road teams, two bad road teams, by the way, because they're not great picks. But I'll go with the Bears.
I'm gonna go Tampa Bay here. I like him at home. Baker had a actually pretty decent game, so I think they win here.
All right. What's next?
All right, we got the Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Seattle Seahawks plus 4.5, Detroit Lions minus 4.5, with the odds being the exact same at a minus 110, but the money line going to the Detroit Lions. And I agree with Vegas here. I'm going with the Lions to cover.
All right. I think I'm going to pick the home favorite as well. As much as I want to think highly of the Seahawks, I don't think they looked as good as they did last year. They're not surprising me right now. But I'll go with the Lions at home.
All right. We both got Lions. You writing this down, Gabe?
I'm going to listen. I'll do it later. I can't do it now because it'll be clicky-clacky. It'll be clicky-clacky on my computer right now.
All right. Las Vegas Raiders at the Buffalo Bills. Las Vegas plus 8.5. Buffalo Bills minus 8.5, with the odds leaning towards the Raiders to get within 8.5 at minus 115, with the Buffalo Bills minus 105. I'm going to take the Raiders on the spread. I'm going to go with Vegas here at that minus 1.5. I think Raiders the spread, but Buffalo wins.
Yeah, I'll go with the Raiders covering. I think the Bills win, but the Raiders will cover the points. I think they win. They lose, but closer than 8.5.
All right. We got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Tennessee Titans. Los Angeles Chargers minus 2.5. Tennessee Titans plus 2.5. I'm going to go Chargers here. They're just the better team. Tennessee Titans are going to be fighting for the number one overall spot in the wooden spoon. So give me the Chargers.
Yeah, I'll go Chargers on the road. I think they're a better team, more weapons. I don't know how the Titans are going to do. I just expect them to do terrible. Give me Chargers on the road.
All right. Now we got the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. Indianapolis Colts +1. Houston Texans -1. This is
how is it -1? What is that?
I don't know. This is really bad. I will say there was moments during that Colts game against the Jags that I liked, and I'm gonna take the Colts here to win. I think I think Colts are gonna be a little bit better. I don't know. This is a hard game to pick because they're both terrible, but I'm gonna go Colts here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the same. I think Colts win outright. They're a -1 is a weird thing.
All right, this is gonna be really good game here. Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. Baltimore +3, Cincinnati Bengals -3, with the odds leaning toward the Bengals to cover the spread at -118, with the Ravens -104. I'm going to go with the Bengals here. I think the Bengals can make a statement win after a really rough game against the Browns. I think they win this game by a touchdown.
Ooh, I'm checking the weather reports right now. My inkling is to go to my inkling right now, honestly, is to go
Ravens out with J.K. Dobbins, member too. So they're starting running back. Gone.
I want to check the weather, but my inkling is to go with the Ravens, regardless. I think Lamar Jackson, this is his year. I'll go with the Ravens on the road. Bengals, until I see the Bengals start winning and pulling it together, I'll go with the away team, Bengals.
All right, and then we have the game we just talked about: Kansas City Chiefs at Jacksonville Jaguars. Kansas City -3.5, Jacksonville +3.5. I'm going to go Jacksonville with the spread. I think the Chiefs win, but the Jags get within 3. The Vegas odds leaning -115 towards the Jags to get within 3.5.
Oh, man, this is the question. Do the Chiefs go down 0-2 on the road? Give me the Chiefs. They got to win.
The Chiefs win.
I think they win by. I give them by 2 field goals. 2 field goals. Give them 6 points. Chiefs win by 6 points at least.
All right. Now we got the San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams. San Francisco -7. LA Rams +7. Give me the Niners here. I think the Niners win by 8.
Yeah, the -7 bothers me. It's like right on 7. I would love 6.5. But give me the over. I think they can win by 10 or more. Give me the 49ers on the road. But they're on the road. I mean, San Francisco, LA. It's California shit. All right. What's next? The next game, Giants, Cardinals. All right, Giants at Cardinals. I mean, I feel like this game, it's a pretty bad game. This is pretty terrible. I don't think the Giants are good. I think the Cardinals are trying to tank. The fact that the Cardinals are at home and they're +4.5, I mean, it's pretty bad. I'm going to go with the Giants. They have to be better, right? They have Saquon. I feel like they got better weapons maybe. I mean, I don't think Daniel Jones is that good, but they have to do better. I'll go with the Giants on the road. Over 4.5.
I think I'm with you there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're just not good. They're not good at all. They're going to be terrible. So let's go to the next one. New York Jets at Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys -8.5. New York Jets +8.5 with the odds leaning towards the Dallas Cowboys -115 with the Jets being -105.
Why is it so high? That is pretty
high. Who do you got?
Oh, this is tough for me. I mean, obviously with the new Aaron Rodgers news.
This is super easy.
You think it's super easy? Listen, I've been telling you, I'm a Cowboys hater, but people have been telling me. People I've been watching on TV, they say, watch out for the Cowboys.
No, I'm saying this is a super easy pick for the Jets. I mean, 8.5, that's huge.
Yeah, I think a game, you know what? I'm going to go with the Jets defense being better. So the Jets at least cover. If they don't win, at least they cover the points. All right? They have to.
All right.
What would you pick?
All right, watch the Commander.
Wait, which one did you pick?
I said Jets.
Okay, Jets. Okay, we think we're both Jets. All right.
Jets on the spread. Yeah. Watch the Commanders at the Denver Broncos. Watch the Commanders +3.5. Denver Broncos -3.5 with the odds being right down the middle at -110 with the money line reading towards the Denver Broncos to win. I'm going to go Broncos to cover the spread.
Broncos on the road. I think the weather, you got elevation. I'll go with the Broncos.
All right. Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots. Miami Dolphins -3. New England +3 with the odds leaning towards New England to get within 3 at -115. Dolphins -105. I'm I'm gonna go Dolphins to cover.
Oh, I'm gonna go Dolphins just to straight up win. I mean, I know the run shit. The run we talked about the run game, but the defense stopping the run game, but the Patriots are not good, man. Give me the Dolphins to win straight up.
All right. Final game of the week. Got New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. New Orleans -3, Carolina +3, with the odds leaning towards the Panthers at -114 and going to the Saints -106. I think it's easy. Saints win more than 3. Got them covering.
Give me the Saints. Give me the Saints, baby. Oh, Wyndham Saints, go marching in. Oh, Wyndham Saints, go marching in. I like to be in that number. Put some music behind this. Oh, when the Saints go. You gotta produce this shit, man. You're a producer, man. You're our video guy.
You're right here.
What is this?
Is that it? No. No, it's
Anyways.
not.
All right. Terrible production, but that's okay. We don't pay you enough as for you. That's it for us, man. It's all NFL week 1. We'll come back next week, week 2, with all our predictions. We'll see how we're doing. I'm following all the games. Check us out, Real Fans Podcast. Julian, tell them where they can find the podcast.
Yeah, on all platforms. Doesn't matter where.
Where you can download. Anywhere you can download podcasts. We're here, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Thank you all for checking us out. It's been NFL centric, but also check out our soccer podcast, our brother podcast over there, Real Fans FC. They're also doing more work over there. But hey, we'll be here next week. Thank you all for checking us out. Peace.
All right.